As we continue with looking at interventions for anxiety, let me talk about social interventions. Now, when we think about social, we are talking now about relationships. We are talking about relationship with yourself and relationship with others. So first and foremost, you need to have a good relationship with yourself. And maybe I should use the word healthy, a healthy relationship with yourself. So who are you? So self-awareness is very important. What are your temperaments? What are your personalities? What are your values in life? And what are your vulnerabilities? And when it comes to dealing with people, how assertive are you? How do you communicate? All these are areas that you would need to improve in order for you to experience the kind of relationships that are healthy and empowering in your life. So, so you need to do a process of getting to know yourself. And let me just give you a few tips on that. Number one, it is always good to take some time to look at how you were raised. Just take a notebook and just write about your major experiences in life that you remember. I remember for me, I started looking at what are my earliest memories with my parents. How did I experience my parents as a child? How did I experience my siblings? And then you can look at your experience with your teachers, experience with church, experience with your peers. How did you feel in the area of friendships? How did you make friends? How did you, what did you struggle with when it came to the relationships that you had? And then move on to being a teenager. What were your main struggles there? What were your strengths? When you were in boarding school, what were you involved in? And how liked were you, or how did you feel? Where did you fit in, or did you even fit in there? So you begin to see your life like that, and then you look at your young adult years and ask yourself, you know, what did you want to be? How did you struggle with adjusting into adulthood? What were your expectations about high school and the marks you got? And were you disappointed by it? Did you have trouble finding money to pay for fees? All that. How was your tamarking? Like for me, I tamarked for 3 years. That was really damaging to my own feeling of competence. And I wondered for 3 years, I was wondering whether I will ever be able to get the kind of work that I want. I wanted to be a teacher. It didn't happen. And eventually I ended up becoming a secretary, which in the beginning I didn't want at all. So look at your life, look at your early relationships, romantic relationships. How did you feel as a relationship person? Did you feel anxious? Did you feel unlovable, unacceptable? What did you struggle with? Do a self-evaluation process, a self-awareness, and don't forget to also look at your strengths. What did you do well? What do people remember about you? If you look at if you ask your parents, if you ask your cousins, your extended family, and your siblings, what would they say about what kind of a person you have been? It's so important to do that because it increases your confidence about yourself. And then at the current time, you need to ask yourself, do you like who you have become? And if you do not like who you have become, why so? And begin to identify areas of growth and areas of strength as well. And there are so many tests online. We are always being bombarded by these tests on Facebook or wherever else. Get to know yourself and also look at the 3 dimensions of who you are. So you have your physical body, you have your mind, and you also have your spiritual. And so you want to look at these 3 areas of your life and evaluate where you are. Do a scale of 0 to 10. I would like to be at a 10. 10 is the highest. That's where I would feel more fulfilled. And look at each area of your lives and say, where am I? If you are at a 5, ask yourself, what do I need to do so that I can get to a 6? So you look at all those areas of your lives and you begin to get in touch with yourself. Then there is the issue of validation. Validation and affirmation is something that we look for. When we think about the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, you know the bottom one is your basic needs: air, food, shelter, and water. That is your basic. Once you get that fixed, then you have your relational needs, and your relational needs is where you want to feel you belong with someone, and then you have your competency needs. You know, what am I good at? What am I giving back to the society? And then you go up where you feel you have a career now, you have a family now, and you have money to pay your bills, and then you have your actualization needs, you know, which is about your purpose and passion, and looking at what am I doing to change the world. That's where we find fulfillment. And so you want to make sure that you want to go through that Maslow hierarchy of needs and see where you are, where you struggle, so that you can begin to put together a plan of self-development, self-healing, as well as self-actualization. I want to also say, in this whenever we are in this space where we want to get to know ourselves, anxiety can be triggered because we remember things that were done to us, and things we regret, and things that were injustices to us, humiliating, and also abuse, and that can create anxiety for us. So you want to do that, and if it becomes too difficult for you to do that, seek the help of a therapist and tell them, I want you to support me as I resolved some unfinished business from my childhood, from my young adulthood, or even from my teenagehood. And so reach out so that you can be able to get the help that you need. Now, if you do not have a healthy self-image and a healthy self-understanding, what is going to happen? You will have problems with these areas that I'm going to talk about. Number one is codependency. Codependency is generally, it's an addiction to relationships. So you stay in bad relationships because you don't think you deserve a better relationship. And we know this is happening in our society over and over again, where people are disrespectful to you, where people take you for granted, take advantage of you, and you are unable to walk away from those relationships. That is what we call codependency, because what is the root cause of codependency is a low level of self-esteem, a low level of self-worth, where I feel that I cannot live without a person. I need a relationship for me to feel validated, for me to feel good about myself. I need a relationship. I just need someone with me. It doesn't matter how they treat me. It doesn't matter whether they are healthy or not. So when we are talking about taking care of yourself, when you take care of your anxiety, take care of your self-image and who you are, then you are able to take care of yourself when it comes to relationship. Who do you allow into your life? Are they adding value? Are they taking it away? So you learn how to choose you instead of choosing a relationship that at the expense of what makes you happy and what makes you fulfilled. This is not about hedonism, where you just want to feel happy all the time and you want everything for yourself. This is not about selfishness. It's about self-respect, and it is about self-love that is healthy, that gives attention to your needs, and you're not looking to meet other people's needs at the expense of yourself, hoping that they will reciprocate. And so it's important for you to understand that you owe it to yourself to take good care of you, first of all, before you take good care of others. A lot of us are giving to others out of empty cisterns. No wonder we are stressed, no wonder we are anxious, no wonder we are depressed, because we have nothing to give, but we keep giving, hoping that our giving is going to make us feel good about ourselves. The other thing that we need to work on is boundary setting. Do you even know where your boundaries are? There is a question that I usually use with boundary setting. Do you know where you begin, and do you know where you end?